Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Pitch Pod. I'm your host, Jeff Stebbins. Join with me, as always, my co-host, Joe Janner. Joe, how are you doing this evening?
Jeff, I'm doing well, as always. Happy to be a part of the Pitch Pod. Looking forward to talking about our recap of our match of the week, Liverpool versus Arsenal, and looking ahead to Champions League match.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to be covering Champions League match. It's leg one of the matchup, Real Madrid v Chelsea. It's going to be a fun game, but first we have to talk about our previous match, which was Liverpool v Arsenal. Joe, what are your initial thoughts coming out of this game?
Very exciting match. I mean, there's just about everything in that game to tout the English Premier League as the best league in the world, in a sense that you have two huge clubs going at it. And I think that it didn't leave anything for the viewer, the supporter, the neutral, whatever, to take away and say that was an exciting, entertaining match. You know, you looked at Arsenal scoring relatively early and going ahead 1-0, and then not too far after that 2-0, you thought this was Arsenal's game to go. And of course, tides turned a little bit, and the final result being 2-2. We didn't quite pick out that as our result, but as far as a very exciting match, this had just about everything.
Yeah, and I should clarify, I didn't pick that as my result, but I did pick a draw. I thought it'd be 1-1, so I was off on the score line, but I did think it was going to be a draw, and I did predict one of the goal scorers. So, you know, I'll give myself a little pat on the back there. I don't get very many of these, so.
Yes, and you had Martinelli scoring.
I did.
Correct?
I did.
And he did, and he really was responsible for the assist for the second goal. Outstanding performance on his part. Again, early on, you see it. It's a young Arsenal team that I think they knew what they were in for. I don't think it was a surprise that traveling to Anfield to play in that contest, where they are in the season, the need for the points, Manchester City's right behind them where they are, to know what they had. But it's maybe quite obvious in some sense that they just didn't have it. Not to take away too much from them, and really not even in the same sense to give too much credit to Liverpool. And then in some sense, that's indicative of the draw and the scoreline, the 2-2 in this one. So, I mean, again, exciting match. Looking forward to seeing how this affects really what will be the final phase of this campaign, this English Premier League season, 2022-2023.
Yeah, for sure. It was a super exciting match. They nearly put in a couple more goals on each side. Really, the thing that stood out to me as a big difference maker was Salah's missed PK. That's pretty tough.
It's going to be hard to look at that and think what would it be or what would have been had that been awarded and had it been able to score.
Yeah, that was tough. But let's go ahead before we jump into the Real Madrid-Chelsea matchup here. Who is your man of the match, Joe? And Joe, I'll full honesty here. I was checking out your tweeting today, your little Twitter feed, and so I think I know where you're going with this. But let's hear it anyways. Who is your man of the match?
Man of the match in a draw. I like to look at maybe an outstanding performer that really kept this particular team in the game. That being Ramsdale's performance as the goalkeeper. Really key saves to keep you mentioned a couple more opportunities from each side, but I mean, they're really namely Liverpool's opportunities to score late that would have put them up to win, and he's right there making some key, brilliant saves. A man of the match, Ramsdale, a player, probably the English Premier League, the world needs to continue to look at being a top goalkeeper in this contest, in this game, in this match.
Yeah, that's who I thought you were going to go with. Absolutely. And really, full disclosure here, I knew he played a good game, but when I saw your tweet, I went back and reviewed some of his saves. That's a great pick for man of the match. He was outstanding and one of the top keepers for sure. My man of the match, I'm going in a different direction. You know, I did consider Ramsdale the keep, but because I kind of called him as going to be one of the goal scorers, and he came out and right around 8 minutes, he put away the first goal of the game. And then later on, like what you referred to, he had a great cross in the box. for an assist of the game. So he was he was all over the pitch and obviously made a huge difference offensively for Arsenal. So I'm going to go with Martinelli as my man of the match. I've always been a fan of Martinelli, and yeah, I'm going to have to stick with him as my vote for man of the match.
I think that's fair. It's a good pick, and I know we look forward to as a younger player to see what he'll continue to do within this league and for Arsenal. So I think it's a good pick for this match.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay. Well, that was a fun match. Hopefully, everyone got to view it. I think this is going to be another fun one, Joe. We got Real Madrid versus Chelsea, Champions League. It's at Real Madrid. That's a pretty big advantage going into this. Benzema's back in top form. Recently had a hat trick. It's going to be a fun matchup, and it could go in a couple different directions, but I think I know what I want to do for my prediction. But before we go there, is there anything that we should look out for in this match? Do you kind of expect the Real Madrid's going to continue to attack with Vinicius Jr. on the left side, or should we expect something different since they're going against different competition? It's not a La Liga team. So, is there anything that we should be looking out for this upcoming match?
I think probably what you suggested there is that they're going to be well prepared to continue to utilize the players that they have and to go at Chelsea. I think that's the key point for me is that I think that with the strong attacking side that they have, where they're at, what they've been doing. I know it's kind of an interesting side note. Both did lose their last contest within the respective leagues, but I just got to think with Real Madrid having a little bit more solid foundation in their season, more consistency. We talked about last week them winning the Copa del Rey. And, they have a little bit more to go forward with momentum as far as where they were. I do really believe they'll outperform a Chelsea side that's now with their interim manager and Frank Lampard trying to put the pieces together, if you will. I really think that I don't want to say no contest in this, that it's going to be obvious, but I do favor Real Madrid winning this one. And I think where they go about this, I could easily see them scoring 3. I'm not going to count Chelsea out, so I do have a prediction. I have Real Madrid winning this one 3-1.
Okay, interesting. Before I make my prediction, I want to hear it from you, Joe. So Chelsea, they had Frank Lampard, he got canned. Graham Potter took over. They still aren't performing, so now they're bringing back Lampard. Do you think all these managerial changes and decisions throughout the season are impacting their play? And going into this match, do you think that recent change is going to impact them as well? Do you think they would be better off finishing the season with Potter, or what are your thoughts on that?
That's a really tough one because you start to ask questions about the reactiveness of the club as a whole in the sense of trying to too little too late, make corrections that they think are going to work. Could have it been an opportunity to give Graham Potter a little bit longer? I thought that they were maybe had that in mind. I thought that no matter what, that he was the guy at least to finish the season. And then, later with other opportunities to have more time, to have talks with other managers that might be a better fit for what they're trying to do, fill that in as a later point. But to again, sack Potter, bring in Frank Lampard, that it didn't ever really seem to be a fit in the first place. You kind of wonder where they are, what they're thinking as far as, is it just short-term reactionary decision-making, or do they have a plan for long-term? I think if that's what you're asking, I really just kind of question if they have an idea of where they want to go for the long-term. And then it seems with that decision to bring Frank Lampard back into the mix at this point in time seems like it's just no.
I like that. That's the way to end it. Just no. And to be honest, when I heard, I think I was listening to a radio show, and I heard that they were bringing Frank Lampard back. I go, really? Like, that's the move? But like you said, that's the direction they went. Maybe not the best, but yeah, that's what the team ownership chose to do. So Lampard is back at the helm of Chelsea. Take into account everything that we mentioned, and also taking into account that this is a home game. Real Madrid, they're looking better than they have been previously, despite a recent loss. So I'm going to also agree that Real Madrid's going to win this. And I'm also going to agree that they're going to win by multiple goals. But my score line's a little bit different than yours, Joe. I'm going to go Real Madrid winning this 2-0.
So it's the same goal differential there. I mean, it probably lends itself to Real Madrid again being the more dominant side and do what they need to do. So we both got Real Madrid winning this with the goal differential of 2. It'd be interesting to see how that goes about. I know you're excited. I'm excited. Hopefully our viewers are excited as well to tune in.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope everyone gets a chance to watch and enjoy this matchup. If you like the content we're bringing, please like and subscribe. That's the best way to support us here at the Pitch Pod. We would really appreciate it. And we are also available on Spotify if you prefer to just listen to your podcast as opposed to listen and watch. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And as always, keep pitching out there, everyone.
In a game, the round ball, round posts, anything can happen.